Welcome back. In the previous session, we have seen what is class and object. In this session, we will discuss about a concept called as constructor in C++. Now, constructor is defined as a special member function of a class which has got same name as that of class name. And basically the purpose of constructor is to initialize the object, or we can say to initialize the state of an object. A constructor does not have return value or return type. See, when we write our own functions, so every function has got some return type, maybe int or float or void, right? But constructor does not have any return type, not even void. By default, there is one copy of constructor available in every compiler, and that is nothing but the default constructor. For example, if you are writing your own class and if you are not provided any constructor, compiler will give a call to its own copy, right? So that is the thing. If the implementer does not define a constructor in a class, then the compiler creates a default constructor. Now, this default constructor is a constructor which does not take any parameters. So it is also referred as parameterless constructor. Now, in a particular class, we can have multiple constructors. See, we have seen a concept called as function overloading. Function overloading is a concept in which we can have multiple functions of the same name, which are a part of the same class, right? Or which are a part of same program. Similarly, we can have multiple constructors as a part of the same class, but they should have different signature. Right? There are different types of constructor, like something called as default constructor, then we have parameterized constructor, then we have copy constructor, then we have default value constructor. We will discuss these terms one by one. Right? So here we have taken one example. So here class name is nothing but circle. Circle is a class name. Now in this circular class, we have one constructor. So we have declared one constructor. Now, as I said, class name constructor special member function which has got same name as that class name. So what is class name here? Circle. What is constructor name? Circle, which is nothing but same, which is not different, right? Now, and outside class we are defining that constructor, right? So we have, this is nothing but declaration. So we have declare inside class and we are defining it here outside class, right? Now, to define any function outside class, we need to use one operator called as scope resolution operator, right? So it is like colon, right? So scope resolution operator. Now basically this scope resolution operator is used to resolve the scope of an object, or we can say scope of a function. That means this circle is a constructor which belongs to this class, right? And inside that, whatever data members of that class we have, those members we are initializing. So here we have declared data members like center underscore x, center underscore y, and radius. So they have been initialized with some default value that is 0. Right? So this is nothing but the default constructor. Then about scope resolution operator. Now as I said, scope resolution operator is used along with the functions, right? Now the syntax is return type of the functions, then class name, then this scope resolution operator, then function name and parameters, right? So for example, I have one class called as circle class. In this class, I have one method function called as get area function. So return type of this function is float, class name is circle, and function name is get area, and then I can have formula to calculate area of circle. Similarly, I can have one more function with name get perimeter, class name is circle, and return type is float. In either case, I am using one operator called as scope resolution operator here, right, and here also. Right? So basically scope resolution is operator which is used to define function outside a class. See, we can define function either inside class or outside class. When we define a function inside a class, automatically that function becomes inline function. But we have already studied that there are some limitation of inline functions. So when your code is too large or too lengthy, we cannot make it as an inline function. So in that case, it is always good practice that we should define functions outside a class, right? This is how we can use scope resolution operator. Then one more point is not only scope resolution operator can be used along with the functions, they can be used along with the constructor as well, right? Now the way we have constructor, we have something called a destructor. It is exactly opposite that of constructor. So basically the way the purpose of constructor is to initialize object, so destructor is used to deinitialize object. Right, so it is also a member function of a class which has also got the same name as that of class name with some different purpose, that is for destruction of object. Now we can have multiple constructor in a class, but we can have exactly one destructor in a class. That means destructors cannot be overloaded, right? And a destructor has one special symbol, we can say a tilde symbol before its name, right? If the user does not supply a destructor, the compiler provides its own default destructor, right? So destructor is called when the object goes out of scope. See, the constructor is called when we are creating object, and destructor is called when the object goes out of scope. Now on the next slide we have one simple example of destructor. So for the same circle class, here we have first of all constructor and next is destructor. If you look at both the declaration, the difference is of this tilde symbol. So in case of destructor we have tilde symbol, right? And to define destructor outside class, we have same syntax. Class name is circle, scope resolution and destructor name, and before that we have tilde symbol, and here in this pair of curly brackets we can have code for destroying the object, right? So in the same class we can have constructor as well as destructor, but they are having different purpose. So again I repeat, constructor is used to initialize object and destructor is used to destroy or deinitialize object, right? So there are different types of constructor as I said earlier: default constructor, parameterized constructor, copy constructor and default value constructor. Now when we have already created an object and we want to create a copy of that object, in that case we can go for something called as copy constructor. So it is used in following situation: first, object copy by assignment; second, object copy by initialization; third, function argument passing of objects by value; and fourth, function returning an object. So these are the four situations in which we use copy constructor. Let's see one example of it. So here in this example we have one class with name alpha, right? And then we have constructor. So this, which kind of constructor it is? It is nothing but the default constructor. Why default? Because it is not taking any parameter, right? So it is default constructor. After that we have one more constructor, its name is same class name, but this constructor take parameter, so it is called as parameterized constructor. It is taking one parameter, integer, whereas in earlier case it is not taking any parameter, so it is default, whereas in second case it is taking one parameter, integer d, so it is parameterized constructor. Then we have one more constructor called as copy constructor. So here when we provide the definition of copy constructor, we take the argument by reference, right? Then in that we have displayed some message like copied constructor invoked, right? And then we have one function called a display function. So in this example we have three constructors: one is default constructor, second is copy constructor, third is parameterized constructor, which takes exactly one parameter, right? And then we have one function called as display function. Now what we have done, we are creating an object. What is object name? A1. Now which value we are passing here? 37. Now this value 37 will be copied into D, and that will be assigned to data in turn. So in this case it will call something called as parameterized constructor, which takes only one parameter, right? Now on the next line, what we are doing, we are creating A3 as a copy of A1, right? In this case copy constructor will be invoked, or it will be called. Now if I display A3, so still I will get 37. If I display A1, still I will get 37, and this is we are displaying by using display function. So think in the same class we can have different types of constructors, as well as we can have destructor. We have taken one more simple example here. So we have a class with name X, right? In this class we have one parameterized constructor, and then we have one copy constructor, and to this copy constructor we are passing one default value. See here, that is X equal to 1. For example, in first case what I have done, I am calling what is class name is X, and I am saying A1, right? So it will call to a constructor called as parameterized constructor. In second, X, object name is B, and I am passing A comma 2. In this case it will call a copy constructor, because I am trying to create B as a copy of A. And in third case, C, I want to have a copy of A. In this case also it will call something called as copy constructor, this version, right? So these are the different cases in which the copy constructor will be called. So the demonstration of same I will show in next session. Okay, till then, bye bye.